Hey y'all. Told you I was coming on. Thank you for being patient. So I wanted to talk a little bit about something that I had a conversation with a elder about yesterday, and I didn't even see it and understand and recognize it within my own self. So I know that sometimes, even if we see it and recognize it, moving past it can be a challenge. And so, the tools, right? And it's easy to say, for a lot of us to say, oh, you just don't have to do something you don't want to do. But when that's attached to family, it's attached to people that you share these cellular bonds with through time, it becomes difficult to just detach, right? But that doesn't mean you shouldn't, by the way. So I want to talk about these obligations that keep us stuck from moving on and have us feeling a certain type of way within ourselves. So let me tell you the story. So I have a situation where I would always be asked for things, particularly money. And I would feel some type of way about, within myself about not giving that person money or not having it to share with them or whatever the case may be. And that was hurting me. That was making me feel heavy. And I came to realize that, this feeling that I was having it within myself really came from this imposed obligation that I had to take care of this person because they were family. Okay. Now, I know that a lot of us, we hear these things. Oh, you got to do this and that to take care of your family first. Boop, boop, boop. Truth of the matter is that family is one, not just blood. Two, you have obligations to people who make you a priority and make you an obligation. Then we're about to get in some heavy stuff, okay? The name of this group is Intergenerational Healing and Self-Care. Intergenerational healing, dealing with our mommy and daddy wounds, how those wounds affected us, and if we have children, how we pass those down. Even if we don't have children, how we interact with children, period. Because the future generation requires our guidance. And so, excuse me. And so we have to have certain understandings within ourselves in order to guide a future generation that is going to be self-sufficient and operating off of values that are sustainable. So these obligations sometimes that we feel like we have to continuously handle for other people, the only thing we have to handle is what we desire and require to handle for ourselves and what we need to handle for ourselves. Especially since a lot of us may have grown up in families where we were abused, we were never defended, we were never nurtured in our natural abilities, we were never given those foundations that we needed to grow up. And now, as we grow up, there's this feeling that we have this obligation to all these people who never protected us, who never loved us, who never gave us or loved us in a way that was not sustainable or was one-sided or was with the tit for tat love, not the unconditional love, right? And so now we are in a situation where we have to perhaps take care of that person. And we may not want to. And I'm here to say and give you permission to tell you that you don't have to. Because that obligation is going to make you feel guilty. And guilt is a feeling that it jacks a lot of us up mentally. Feeling guilty about everything. But that's that obligation. Those obligations are what makes us feel guilty within ourselves. And guilt affects all kinds of things. It affects your body, the way your body functions, right? It affects just the way you carry yourself throughout life. You're fearful of every little thing. You don't feel like you can move and do the things that you can do because you're like, oh, is that right? Can I do that? Should I do that? When you know that it interferes with what spirit is trying to tell you to do for yourself. So I know for a fact that my number one obligation financially is myself and my daughter and my family. I know that my number one emotional obligation is myself, my daughter, my family, my husband, my immediate unit. Okay. I know that my spiritual obligation is to healing myself and passing forward information to my daughter. For some people, some of this stuff sounds rough, but if you haven't been in certain familial situations, you can't understand the depth of how these dynamics work. There's a lot of things that people like myself, who are the disruptors and who are the quote unquote black sheep and the interrupters, have to do, say, in ways that we have to be in order to disrupt these patterns of unloyal families and disloyalties and ill treatment. In order to disrupt those patterns, there are certain things that we have to do, and it looks and sounds real rough, but we know it because we feel it. We know when somebody in our family don't really like us, but they want to stay close to us so that they can get something from us. We know when people in our family are looking at us like we're crazy and they expect us to fail in every little thing that we do. We know what that feels like. People don't have to say things for you to know what it feels, how it feels. You have to be able to interpret that for yourself. And people like myself who aren't interrupters, who know without words having to come out of somebody's mouth, these are the things that we have to be very clear on, because when you're stuck in these obligations, I'm about to go into the energy piece of it. Literally, there is a sucking of your energy. And you continuously think about this thing that you feel fearful that these people are going to call you about, or you doing things that you don't want to do. Your energy is literally being sucked from you to go to that person or thing to do that thing, person or thing's bidding. And as opposed to it being focused on you and what it is that you need to do or want to do with yourself. And that's the depth of it. So you get all these energy cords attached to you based on these obligations. And you wonder why you're heavy and you can't move in your life and do what you want to do. The powerful things that you want to do. I'm looking at my hands, they're a little ashy. You're not moving and doing the powerful things that you want to do. So, we really have to, when we're talking about getting free and all of these obligations, all these things that you should do, particularly in families that we're not necessarily, tight-knit, or where you may have had relationship struggles with your mother or father, there is going to be that element to it. And I'm here to tell you that, one, there needs to be some energy work done to literally remove cords, but there also needs to be the practice of saying no. No is, I know we've heard this before, no is a complete sentence. No is a full thought. No, period. Full stop. That's it. Nothing else. Because those obligations, again, will keep you feeling like, in order for you to be free and be lifted, that you have to continue to do certain things for certain people. And you don't. Because think about it again. Let's say one of the things that I hear is that, I hear a lot of women say is that, once their parents, who they may not have had a great relationship with, get older and ill or whatever, they may feel like, burdened by having to take care of them, especially when or if that parent may not have taken care of them very well. Okay. These are private conversations that people have. They don't want to speak out. But the truth of the matter, that feeling of that conflict of not wanting to do something, but doing it anyway out of this obligation, is keeping you stuck in a particular mentality. And that is the mentality of doing things based on what others want you to do, and not based on what you know in your spirit is for you to do. That's the heart of it. Or having some sort of way to break up that energy of not wanting to do it, but just doing something because somebody else wants you to do it. So there's ways to get around it. But what I'm saying is that you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. All of those obligations are false. They're a lie. It's something to keep you managed and to keep that other person, whoever it is, from or stuck to you, or you stuck to them, to drain you of your energy and your life force, because that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, everything. That's what everything is, a game of energy. So if you're not aware that you're doing this, if you're not aware that someone else is trying to do that to you, that's the beginning of evolving. Really stepping into yourself and saying, you know what, I'm not willing to do these sorts of obligations that I don't feel, but I am going to create a situation in my own family where I ensure that I take care of my business, take care of my family, so that my children don't have to feel like this, or whoever in your life doesn't have to feel like, am I being a good caretaker and a good companion to these people, so that they know that they are doing this based on a shared energy and not an energy of me draining them and giving them these false obligations. That's the question. Okay, it's time for us to start evaluating that and to really look at that from those depths. And not one, a lot of time, because we're hungry for love or we're hungry for that affection from that person, we'll take it any way that they give it to us. But the truth of the matter is that the way that they're giving it to us is not really feeding us, it's draining us. Love is supposed to enhance you. It's the highest vibration on this earth, but if that love is draining you and not giving you what you need, the mental, spiritual satisfaction that you need, then it's not actually love. It's posed. It's posing as love. Okay, it's something else. It's force. Sometimes it's hate, quite frankly. Sometimes it's just a false social structure of these obligations and these systems that keep people in place a certain way, so they can continue to do things and keep that particular low-level energy going. But if you are an interrupter, which if you're in this group, then you are, then it's time for you to say, you know what, wait a minute. Feeling like I have to do that is making me tired and sick. It's draining you. And that was my first way of knowing. When I didn't want to answer the phone, because when that person was calling, I knew that it was going to be about something, about asking for something, right? That was draining to me. It literally made me feel tired the instant that I saw the phone ringing with that person's number on it. So what does that do to you over time when you're constantly being drained by the same thing? We have to think about that. And not give anyone our power away like that. Interrupters like us require acting as out of our adult self and not out of our childlike self. We have to act as an adult. An adult knows that their no means no. And sometimes you step that line and you say no, and that person tries to overstep that no. Know what it is that you want, you desire, what your values are to make your no your no. Don't answer the phone no more. Okay? Or whatever it is that it takes. Because it's not just about you. It's about making sure that you're imparting that energy into something else too. Something that's going to build you up. I hope that this was useful to you. I am always accepting clients for individual coaching sessions because I really am here about destroying generational cycles and getting people to rethink and re-visualize their families, generational everything from generational wealth to generational emotions to cellular, the way we present in cellular ways, everything, health, everything. It's time. We cannot go into the next generation or allow the next generation to see us in a way that makes them continue to go down a path of destroying themselves and making them feel like it's okay to destroy themselves because, well, the generation before us did. Or to look at us as a generation like, ooh, what did y'all do? Did y'all build anything up or did you destroy everything? Did you think about any of these social mores and quote unquote obligations, or did you just continue to follow them? Did you think about anything? Because what ends up happening, then there's no trust and loyalty when you just going along to get along. There needs to be some thought process. And this goes to a lot of different things too. This ain't just about family. This is about, thinking that you're going to pay into a 401k and in 60 years you're going to be able to retire. It's about thinking that you need to retire at 60 years or whatever, however that goes. I'm very clear that I'm retiring at 40. And I trust that it's going to be. I'm very clear. And I'm going to be enjoying my life before then and after then. Okay. So I'm going to put the link in the comment section for my website. I do discovery calls, but I also do mentoring sessions. A mentoring program and mentoring sessions that I do, a 6-week program called Evolve the Inner Mother. And we go even more in depth in your individual situation with these various topics. Okay. And my intention is truly for people to get free because I know what it takes, what it requires, because I've done it. And I'm still doing it because it's unraveling is a process. Mm-hmm. It is a process, but it's well worth it. Once you get free from a lot of these thought processes, mental processes, these family processes, thought processes, and you start to create your own, you get to really know who you are. I know a lot of us like run around and say that we gods and goddesses and all this other stuff, but that will show by your fruit. Okay, that will show by your fruit of what you do. Anyway, my loves, I did want to make sure that I came on. We're going to be doing weekly sessions on various topics around it, topics like this. And I look forward to hearing your testimonies about what obligations you thought about and what obligations you're releasing and how you're releasing them. Let's talk about it. I look forward to seeing your comments. Drop them below. I love y'all. Bye-bye.